Hey, welcome back everybody to Havoc Maker Studio. My name is John. Hoping you guys had a great Monday and Tuesday. I know things are really just kicking off for the week. So today, I wasn't actually planning on a video, and then I got kind of inspired after knocking out a bunch of work for the RPG that I've been writing. And I thought, man, let's go ahead and work on some predictions for Malekith the Accursed and for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Mainly, the reason why I'm picking Malekith over any of the other announced characters is after Heimdall and Scourge drop in July, around July, I think it's July 8th. At least hopefully here in the US, if that date holds firm. And then we also have the Asgardian affiliation box with Thor, Loki, Valkyrie, and Hela dropping in the month of July. Malekith right now is supposedly slated for August 12th of 2022. Now, of course, we have no idea if that date will change, and if and who knows what also will be dropped alongside it. This could be the only box for the month of August, which is totally fine. I'm not going to argue. I don't think anybody else is really going to argue, especially with their pocketbooks and the way the economy and such is going. One box might be okay. I kind of like the idea of it, especially when you look at come October, that we are probably going to get or September, sorry, we're going to get waylaid with one, two, three, four boxes, I believe, in September, unless those dates get around. And of course, we have a new mini extravaganza date for the 14th, 15th, and 16th of July that might adjust this entire schedule completely, if, of course, they reveal anything else for us, which would be, I would say that would be pretty cool. I don't think anybody would argue to see what other models are going to come. We can probably scratch December being a release month for them, so that would leave us some sort of product that would release in October and or November, and then they usually kind of take December off and then start again the next year. So we'll see how that pans out. But right now, let's talk about Malkith the Accursed. He is the master of Wild Hunt, and his history. I mean, I could do a lore video, and I might even just do a lore video between now and then for anybody who might be interested. If you are interested, put in the comments below. He's got a very storied history, some of it very sad, and then other ones like, well, you might be a product of what's happened to you, but you are a dick right now. Excuse my language, but he is not a nice person anymore. He unlikely he was going to be a good person, but he is definitely a very bad person. Where Loki is the type to manipulate and being mischievous. I mean, sometimes kind of mean mischievous. This guy is a manipulator on a level of just like evil. He is just a bad dude. So the type that takes his own mother. Now, granted, his mother did sell him into slavery, but he turned around and fed her to the dogs of the wild hunt. Became the master of wild hunt. Little backstory. I do remember this character from just two key moments. The most recently, the War of the Realms, where he basically laid waste or laid war against the 10 realms. And I know some people are like, well, there's only 9 realms. Not when you take into account the hidden realm or the forgotten realm called heaven. That's heaven with the without an A. And that's where Angela went to be with the angels in heaven. So he waged war against the 10 realms and did a lot of bad things. But we did see some really cool issues. We got to see even Punisher getting involved. We got to see Spider-Man riding around on a talking horse, but only he could hear the horse talking to him. Made for some really, really good issues. And of course, some of the combat scenes were just absolutely amazing. It was the first place that we got to see the mount that he's riding right now that we're seeing here in this image, the Svartalheim Bog Tiger. That's at least the first time I've seen it. It might have been in previous issues over the past few decades. The one that sticks out in my mind, decades old, probably late 80s, 90s. Comics already long gone in the trash, and some landfill, probably rotten away by now. But he went up against Curse, who was, I think, was a friend of his or a buddy partner. It was Algum the Strong. If you remember the Thor, the Dark World, the Thor 2 movie, Christopher Eccleston was playing Malekith, and then his buddy, they did the thing where he got really big, and they had to put the new helmet on him, and they called him the Cursed or Curse, and that it was him. So Curse ends up killing Malekith by breaking his neck. It was very significant. I've even tried to find images online, and I couldn't. Even looking through some old comic book databases and could not find it, which was very irritating because it's one of those childhood memories. And I know you guys know what that's like. You can see those images, and it could have been a really crappy issue, but that stuck out in my mind. So anyways, so that's a little bit of a backstory-ish on him. We might do a full lore video in the future, depending on what you guys think about that. So let's take a look at the predictions that I have for him. They could be really bad. They could be really good. I'm feeling a little iffy on this one, but I'm still going to go through with it. We're going to go 50-50 on its success. So first up, we're going to look at him having a very healthy side on his character stat card, looking at 10 health. And then when you flip him over to the injured side, we're looking at 8. Possibly a 9, but I'm going to go with 8 right now. We're going to give him a medium movement, and this could be I reserve the right to change this later on between now and his actual character stat card release, which we have no idea when that be. It could very well be next week. I think we might see it in July, probably mid to late July. Anyways, I think he's going to be size 5. I looked at his base size, did some measurements, and he seems to be about 100 millimeters tall. Looks like he's going to be on a 65 millimeter base. Dormammu is approximately 100 millimeters tall, approximately, guys, approximately. And they're both basically the same size. So I'm going to go with the size 5. I think it could be warranted for a size 4 for him, but I think of the 5 is going to be, I think, suitable for his overall size. I mean, I could be wrong. You guys put down in the comments right now what you guys think it could be. So, I mean, the only other person that is a size 4 that I know of is the Hulk. So he could be a 4. I mean, when you take the combination, but I'm going to go, I'm feeling it'll be a 5. So I think he's going to be about a 6 threat. I don't think he's going to be quite the Dormammu point cost of an 8, but I think he's definitely around the Thanos level of being a 6, possibly a 5, but I'm feeling very comfortable with the 6. Now, the physical defense, I put it at 3 alongside a 3 on his energy defense and a 4 for his mystical defense, mainly because his mystic, I mean, that's where all of his abilities stem from, and his physical abilities are superhuman. The only thing that I could possibly see them doing is lowering that physical defense to a 2, and it's going to sound weird, but as a dark elf, he has, or as an elf in the Marvel universe, he has a weakness to iron. So there's a possibility that if they might do it based on that, they won't give the explanation why, but since iron is not some sort of status condition that they've put in there, I think that's the only reason why I might see that as a 2. So moving on, this is going to be a little extensive. If you're driving as usual, please, please, please do not be looking at your screen. I'm going to read this off to you, what we think we might get for his abilities. So his builder attack is going to be a basic strike, range 2. Possibly we might change this to a range 3, but I'm going to go with range 2, 5 dice, 0 cost. This is going to gain power equal to the damage dealt. He's going to have a mystic blast of some sort that's going to be range 4. This amount, let me walk that back. This could be an energy blast. The reason why I'm caught between the two is some of the databases online say he has energy manipulation, but that stems from his mystical training from his wizard training. So is it going to be energy or is it going to be mystic? That's kind of a hard thing to decide on. And I think that's really going to be a whimsical thing. So moving on, I think it's going to be a range 4. It's going to be definitely, I think, a far-ranging attack. 7 dice, 4 power, and we might make that 8 dice and 4 power. On a wild symbol, it's going to cause stun because these energy blasts that we know that he can do, are concussive force. So that could be what that is. And since he is a wizard, I think if maybe on a double wild symbol, we might also inflict hex on the target. So for his superpowers, I've got a physical enhancement. We already know that he is physically superhuman, so well above anyone else. He's probably, if I'm reading everything correctly, there is similar to kind of like the standard Asgardian, so he can push a lot of weight. He's fast, durable, a lot of stamina. But we know that he can physically enhance himself up to godlike levels, because we know he can physically enhance himself to go toe to toe with Thor and the big boys. So I think a physical enhancement power, maybe once per turn, before he makes an attack with a strike, he can use this power. He gets to add 2 dice to the next attack dice pool. And he can either do this on himself or a target within range 2. Only once per turn, but I think that's fairly reasonable. Reactive power is going to be a range 3, 3 power. It's going to be able to reroll up to 2 defensive dice from energy or mystic attacks. Once again, this is going in long lines with partly with that iron weakness. Also, because we know he can transform himself into mist or do some short range teleports, basically like skipping around. We know he has some powers like that help prevent him from getting hit. So I think that a reactive power like that is warranted. The next power, I'm gonna swap these around. Teleport. We know that he can teleport over vast distances, but I don't really see them giving anybody really the power to teleport, say like range 5 or range 4 or anything like that. So I'm going to say that we're going to keep this simple, and you can place this model within range 2 of its current position, and he can do this once per turn for 2 power. I think that's still fairly significant. And then we got his Svartalheim Bog Tiger. I think that this might either be a reactive power or this might fall under an innate ability. And after an attack targeting this character is resolved, the attacker, which I apparently cannot spell, is pushed range S and gains the bleed special token. I'm going to go with the bleed token, or the bleed condition, mainly because if you've ever been scratched by a cat, those things bleed for no particular reason. Not like gushing blood, but imagine a tiger the size of a short bus that kids will ride to school. That thing is going to leave some pretty big gaping wounds. So I'm thinking bleed is warranted in there. And then his last thing is innate. Since he's not in his Asgardian, I'm not going to give him that gain 1 power per turn sort of thing during the power phase. But I am going to give him flight because he is riding that Svartalheim Bog Tiger. And that thing's got big, massive wings. I don't think they're just for show. I think we've seen it in the comics where it does fly, and I think it's warranted that he would have flight. And then he is known to have a natural regenerative ability, and he does enhance that, has been shown to enhance it with his magic. So I think a healing factor 1, once again, is another warranted ability. Now we know that he has a couple team tactic cards coming. So the one that has caught my interest, and we'll kind of revisit these maybe a little bit closer to his release, if we especially do a lore video or if I get wind of something. One of them that caught my attention is the Black Bifrost, and we know that he has used the Black Bifrost in the comics, especially during the War of the Realms. So this Team Tactic card is probably going to be similar to the Guardian of Bifrost ability that Heimdall has, which was for 3 power, you can choose this character or another allied character within range 4 and place it within range 2 of its current position. A character can be placed by the superpower only once per turn. I think that this is going to not target him, but he's going to be able to target another character and move them around the board as a Team Tactic card. That is my current prediction for that Team Tactic card. So I think overall, Malekith, I think to be honest with you, I think there's going to be another ability in there that I'm just not seeing. But I think he is going to be, I think he's going to be a pretty significant threat. And I know maybe what I've put up there isn't really threat worthy, but I think he is going to be pretty much an in-your-face threat, kind of like how Scourge is really more of a tool, not a tool. Well, a tool, you know what I mean. He's more of a go. You want to just get him in the mix of a fight. I think Malekith is going to be one of those that really isn't going to be big on the commanding troops, even though he has shown, as the Master of Wild Hunt, shown having that abilities to lead forces. I think he's going to be one of our first big models that's going to be all about getting stuck in. So I think we might see a little bit of a change in that regards. At any rate, let me know what you guys think of this video. Let me know what you guys think of Malekith, what I might have missed on this prediction. And yeah. Anyways, you guys have yourself a wonderful week. We'll be back tomorrow with some Star Wars Legion information and a little bit of news and some character cards and talking about that. Anyways, you guys have yourself a wonderful evening. I'll chat with you later.